Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We have guest people here today doing our various tests. Dave is camping, and so we're going to have Phil sub in today for all the things. So thanks to Phil.
Okay. Well, I'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then the Rotary 4-way test. Is there all concerned? Will be beneficial to all concerned. I didn't see any birthdays or club anniversaries, so if I forget anyone, just raise your hand. Okay. Let's see, the Brewers start the playoffs on Saturday, so good luck to them. Yeah. The Packers are 2-1-1. So the projection for them is 9 wins, 4 losses, and 4 ties. What ties would be, I don't know.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Thanks, Phil. All right. So Tony was up today for the member minute. She is not here today, but she said that she will be here next week. So we're going to move her to next week, and we're going to have two. We'll have 2 next week, so we stay on track. So 2 member minutes for next week. Couple of just general announcements. Want to give a giant thank you to Melissa and to Dan, and especially to Anne, who's still here, who really represented the Rotary well at the multicultural fair that happened over the past weekend. And thanks to you too. Yeah, I was there too.
So Lucy,
Yeah.
well, Maddie, Jamie Racine's daughter was there, and Lucy Miller, who was, and her friend Kristen, who were 2 high school students that were in the Interact, but Lucy went on a short term exchange to Belgium and was Dartha's second host family, is Dartha's host sister. So they came and helped out at the end of the day, and were a big help.
All right.
So I should thank Rose if she was here for that, because Rose did let the girls know, so awesome.
I guess it's do a little drawing here. So we have a 1-year membership to the YMCA. It's going to Scarlett. Good job, Scarlett. Drawing there for that. So I'll make sure she gets that. Congratulations, Scarlett. Right, exactly. So that's good. So yeah, it was. I think that it was just a lovely day, and there were a lot of great folks out at the event, and I think it just was a really good fit for Rotary to be there. So thanks to all who participated in that. Saw some other folks there as well who were representing other groups, and just a good day. Also, thanks to many of you who have signed up to help for the Pancake EMS open house. And big thanks to Ron, who stepped up to lead the charge for the day. I feel like we're in good shape for that. Obviously, more people helping is great. So please feel free to continue to sign up. But I think we're in really good shape for that. So many thanks to all of you for that, which is coming right up. We also got, if you have been checking your email, like my mantra apparently over the last couple of weeks, there's a multitude of opportunities for other volunteer participatory events. So there was an email that was sent about volunteering at Creekside. We had that conversation a few weeks ago about whether we wanted to make this an official partnership of a long-term nature and to continue to show up for their Coyote Cup. Many of you said that you would like to do so. So that information has been sent out. So if you are inclined, or if you indicated an interest, please sign up for that so we can be a presence with Creekside and help with their Coyote Club. Also got information about Meals on Wheels. We have a very robust and active group of folks who participate on Thursday Meals on Wheels delivery here through the Colonial Club. But as people go on vacation, just always good to have a few more folks. So if you're interested in doing that, by all means, please sign up. Quentin runs the organization for that. It does not take a terrific amount of time. That's something that maybe, if you're thinking about doing, you're like, not much. Rotary has one of the smallest routes, so it can be done right around here. It can be done relatively quickly. It's a very meaningful and rewarding, I think, activity, and a good match for us. If you have questions about that, by all means ask. But that is also about in the world with looking for folks to help with that. And then last but not least, how the game will be, I don't know, because even I know Badger football's not doing well. I'm not saying something that I know that. But we are signed up to do concessions on the October 18th event. And so that was an email that was sent out by Tony reminding everybody who had expressed an interest. If you are on that list and can't do it, please let her know. We need enough people to make it work and to run well, because win or lose, people are still going to drink. So, you know, either to clean up with that.
Always have hope.
Always have hope. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then one more general announcement. We do not partake in as like a decorated car or a stand for the trunk or treat event, which is coming up at the end of October. We have partnered with Navigators to help them with the candy that they need. They need tons of candy because it is a hugely popular event. So we will start gathering and collecting that. So we can bring it in. Just bring the candy. We are looking for that. Okay. So we'll move into Rotary Moments in a moment, but first I'm going to have Mary come up and have a little presentation here. We have some more. We have lots of guests today. So I'm going to turn it over to Terry.
Average start.
All right, sounds good.
I think one of the activities that we have or programs that we have that really says Rotary is service above self. When you look at what Rotary is about, it's about helping others. It's about getting involved. It's about trying to improve things. And the service above self award, I think, is out there looking for people who represent what we believe in and how we do our 4-way test and that. And we've had since 1961, this has been going on. I think Tom Hebel was the one who started us off. I took it on the second, and then other people now have taken it. And to me, it is the Christmas of the year for the Rotary Club. And with that, Terry, you want to introduce one of our winners? She could not be with us at the time. She was out of the country, I believe, right?
Well, she's in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, that's out of the country.
Yeah, that's out of the country. Gonna excuse myself and refer to notes. We have this nice petite young lady with a really, really long name. This is Vanya Vala Vanessa Vickerman Kelly. Did I do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it again, I didn't hear it.
I'm not sure I could. All right. What's remarkable about this young lady is she's just a junior here at East High School, but she maintains a 4.0 grade point average. She plays tenor sax in the Sunbury Jazz Band. She's a member of the Wind Ensemble. She's a member of FFA. She's on the tennis team. And a lot of you know she's very, very active in Interact. You remember she helped us at the Kentucky Derby. She was there last year for us at the Taylor Swift event. And I think she was there Saturday for the multicultural event. And nope, okay. All right, wasn't sure, but we've had very strong lady presidents of our Rotary Club, you know, with Jen and Laura and other lady presidents. I want to introduce you to the next lady president of the Rotary Club, somewhere down the road. Here's Vanya. Vanya, congratulations.
Well, you should.
Her mom wants to get a picture.
Yeah, yes. Well, most important lady, I suppose, is her mom. Awesome. Go right next to the right. There you go. That's a little ground away.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good job.
Maybe any tracker days. All right. Well, that leads us to Prairie Moments. Anybody have any Rotary Moments? There's got to be a couple.
I could do fantasy football.
All right.
Can you do fantasy football for your?
Sure, I lost, but.
So in Sun Prairie East, the original fantasy football division here we have 8 teams and 6 of us are 2-2. So it's a very, we believe in parity in Sun Prairie. Right? The matchup of the week was Deb's team versus Rose's team. That's Sneaky Play Kane versus This Lad Is My Lad, which is a great name. And This Lad Is My Lad, that's Deb's team, won with the help of their coach. They beat Sneaky Play Kane by 24 points, which was a big win for them. And they've been in first place, the other team. So you knocked out the first place team. The big score in our league this week was Bench and Bar. That's Josh, who scored 223 points. That's a lot of
Holy
points.
cow.
Yep. The Stevedores beat my team. The Law Enforcers beat Phil's team. Phil's team is struggling right now a little bit, but they'll come back. And then, let's see, Terry and Debbie's team lost to Josh. So that is the
We couldn't get more than 220 something.
Yeah, it was a rough week.
Holy cow, yeah. Well, I'm on the West team and I'm 6 out of 8. I had the hope of beating our leader, who's 4-0, and it's Mark Charbonnet with Bijan Rice. This has a weird name every year. He's 4-0. Jim is second at 3-1, and then we also have, what did you say, parity? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 2-2s, and then sorry, Rich. You're close to me though. You have more points than me, so one more week and I'll be at the bottom. And a little better. And Rex, where's Rex?
Rex is up at the front there, buddy.
When you're last, you try harder.
The only way is up.
That's right. So, and I don't know all that other stuff. I wasn't prepared.
That's all right.
Any other moments? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. All right. Well then, Dan, you're up again. So.
So I was reminded as Mike was here that he has spoken to us before in a different capacity. Mike Schuster spoke to us in his capacity as the owner of Fiddle Smart Marketing. Was that last year, Mike? A couple years ago. But that just proves Mike wears a lot of hats. He is a marketer. He is the president of the Sun Prairie Civic Theater Board. He's involved in many other things around the city of Sun Prairie, and not only that, he's a great guy. Mike has been the president of the Sun Prairie Civic Theater now for about a year. He's been on the board for 6 years, and he's in his second term. And he has really helped turn the organization into a much more professional type of an organization. We are still a volunteer-based organization, but he has helped guide the board towards a more, our last president used to call it less of a bake sale organization and more of a professional organization. And it's really been a good transition for us. Joining him today is Lori Gritter, whose phone just went off, and it sounded really good. She's a very busy person. She had to take her kids to school, and might have been one of her kids trying to get a hold of her.
Now it's the alarm to make sure that the boy gets on the bus.
There you go.
Well, gets in the car on time, but he's on his own, so let's hope he gets there.
Lori manages development for the Sun Prairie Civic Theater as of this year. She has come on and is helping us ramp up our fundraising and just overall visibility in the community as well. And Lori and Mike are both also performers. You might have seen them on stage a number of times here in Sun Prairie. Mike last did Murder on the Orient Express. And Lori right now, as well as doing Sun Prairie Civic Theater, she is involved in a show in Madison for the Madison Theater Guild called An Ideal Husband. And she plays, how would you describe that? A slithery seductress.
How about just the villain?
There is the villain. She is the villain. It's a really fun show. My wife and I went and saw it. We laughed through the whole second half. So without further ado, Mike is going to speak about the Sun Prairie Civic Theater and some of the changes they've had going on and just what it takes to run a operation like that.
Lori might interject at times. She's more than welcome to. We thought it would be interesting to take you through a little bit of what it takes to actually put on a show and run the theater. Because what most people see when they think of the theater is, well, there's a bunch of actors who get up on stage and perform, and there's probably a director back there who told them what they should do. And that's really only the tip of the iceberg of what it takes to put on a show. So for a show like Sweeney Todd that's going to open on Friday, or a show like 9 to 5 that performed in the spring, you might have seen about 25 people on stage in the cast performing the show. What you don't see is the 100+ people behind the scenes who do everything from putting the tickets online so people can buy them, to painting the sets, to constructing the sets, to figuring out what we're going to put in the actors' hands as a prop to make the show go on, to sewing the costumes, sourcing the costumes, helping with makeup and hair and wigs and all the other good stuff, and then all the other fundraising and other things that have to go on in order to put a show on. Because unfortunately, shows aren't all that cheap. So we have this past year, our operating budget for the Civic Theater is about $150,000 in total expenses, and we'll get about 61, so just over 60% of those expenses are directly related to putting on the production. So they would go away if we didn't put on production. That's how we look at it. So those are things that we have to spend in order to get the show on a stage, or to even do the shows in a different location. And then we have another 39%, and that goes into things like we've got a rehearsal barn that we do rehearsals in. We have to maintain the barn. We pay taxes on the barn. The general maintenance there, plus things like promotions and advertising and anything else that just all the general operating type expenses that you need to keep an organization running that don't relate directly to the production. So when we do a musical on the stage, that production budget for a musical is generally anywhere between $16,000 and $27,000 to get it on the stage. $16,000 would be what we'll call a smaller stage musical, which would be like Sweeney Todd or 9 to 5 that we typically perform on the smaller stage of the Central Heights Middle School. And then the larger stage musicals are ones that we might have upwards of 50 to 60 people in the cast. Usually it involves youth, and that would be something like The Wizard of Oz that's coming up this next winter, or last winter's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and you've got Wonka sitting right there. And then when we do a play, which is basically the theater without an orchestra and without music and singing and dancing, those will cost us anywhere between $8,000 and $12,000 to put on the stage. So there's money that we have to raise and come together to put that together. Most of the plays will run around $8,000, but we have Clue coming up this spring, and that's going to be closer to a $12,000 budget.
And I just wanted it, like, if you're going, why is it so much?
That's next, but-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You're good.
I was just gonna say, like, people don't understand that, like, just to get the show in our hands, the rights to have that show is a
Yeah,
big chunk of change that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, so the
Like,
bulk,
this isn't a costume budget. This
Right.
is like just to get the script in our hands.
yeah, the bulk of the budget for any of the shows, the vast majority of it will come down to two line items. The first is facility rental. So to rent the performance facilities in order to perform, that can cost us anywhere, with the Performing Arts Center, that'll be somewhere around $6,500 to $7,000 to rent the facility to perform in it. And then the rights to just perform the show from the licensed houses and the people who wrote the show, and now they're doing it. That can also be for a musical, that can be somewhere, it's averaging between around $7,000 for a musical right now. So it can creep upwards, can go down to about $6,000 and upwards of about $8,000 to stage a musical. I believe Wizard of Oz is coming in at one of our most expensive licensing costs for a musical that we've ever done, but the rates keep going up. And then there's some funny thing called Wicked that is influencing most likely what they're charging for royalties. And then a play can be, that's usually less expensive, but it can still be $3,000 to Clue, I think, is closer to $6,000 for the royalties to perform the show. So, and then that's all based on what the seating capacity is of the theater, how many tickets you expect to sell, the rate that you're charging for your seat. So there's a lot of influences that go into that. But that's generally what it costs. So yeah, so when you're looking at a musical, almost half of the expenses are going to be just to get the show on the stage, to rent the facility to perform the show, and to get the show, the rights to perform the show. And then everything else gets split up between costumes, lumber, paint, all those other, everything else that it takes to do special props or special effects. And so we look at a number of different things when we're saying, well, what's the season going to entail for us? The first is name recognition. So we look to try to determine, is this a show that people might recognize in the public? Because without name recognition, in theory, then the marketing budget needs to go up much, much higher. And we generally spend about $1,500 to market a show, between printing banners and yard signs for some and advertising that we spend, and that's not a lot of money. It goes really, really fast. So if you had no name recognition within the show, you've got to get people excited about the show and educate them in different ways. So then we would have to up that. Cast size is a factor when we're looking at shows. People come to see people who are in the show a lot of times. So if you have a bigger cast, you automatically know you're going to sell some volume of tickets related to that. But the bulk, we still sell a bulk of tickets to people who don't know anybody in the cast, or they might be a friend of a friend who knows. And we've had very small shows that have done very, very well for us. So it isn't the final determination, but it is one that we have to say, because it also drives costs of the production. If you've got 50 people who all need more than one costume, then you've got maybe 100 costumes you have to get ready for the show. And when we do a youth show, that definitely plays into factor, when we can have 50, 60, and we've had up to 80 kids on the stage who all need a costume, at least one or two, for the show. And then we will look at complexity of the show itself. Some shows are easier to stage, some are harder. They require special effects or special makeup. So a show like when we did Shrek a number of years ago, you've got all these fairy tale characters. They all need special effect type makeup. Sweeney Todd has a bunch of special effects in it. Not to get too much away, but there's slitting of throats and blood that has to come down, and it's a very gruesome but fun show. So
Way to sell it.
It's a thriller. If you don't know, it's rated R. You don't want to bring a really young kid that could get traumatized, but
Definitely not.
I probably saw it for the first time when I was 13, somewhere around there. Everything happened when I was 13. And I fell in love with it. So it's a very cool show. But complexity plays it. So a show like Wizard of Oz, where you might want to fly somebody, where you'd be like, hey, it'd be really cool if you could fly Glinda in, or you could fly the witch or the monkeys. That's not happening with our production of it, because flying alone for one person, to fly one person, it's about another $7,000 of expenses between getting the rigging brought in, the insurance that you need, and the people that have to be on site to train you how to fly.
He's looking at me because when we produced
Mary Poppins
a couple years ago, we flew Mary Poppins, and I was the producer for that show, and I went way over budget. So that was I learned a lot on that.
But was it cool? Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was 100% worth it. And to give away something really cool, this next the Penguin Project's been here before, and this next spring they'll be doing Mary Poppins Jr. And for one of the first times probably in the country, we're understanding, but we don't know that for a fact, but we will be flying Mary, and Mary will most likely be in a wheelchair. So they will be flying a wheelchair. So
And that is very.
and so that'll be very, very, that's
It's a whole.
$7,000
yeah.
plus.
It took a hard time. It took a long
But-
time even to find someone that would do it, because it's not done.
And then you have the general theme. So there's certain themes that in the public work better than others. We know if Shakespeare is in the name, it depresses sales. It doesn't matter what the show's about, but if Shakespeare is in the name, or Hamlet or anything, and if the show even loosely refers to Shakespeare, it tends to depress sales for us. There are other groups that do well with Shakespeare, but it just doesn't work for us. And when it comes to plays, we know that mysteries and comedy, romantic comedies, and farces sell very well. You combine any of those factors and you have an even bigger hit. So if you get a mystery that's funny, it does even.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express, it had some comedy in it. They sell really well. So there's just a lot of factors we have to look at. People will often ask us, well, how come we can't do this sort of unknown play or this other thing? And usually it comes down to, we just can't cover the expenses related to doing that. And we want to draw people from the community in. We want people to come see the shows, not just do it for the people that are on the stage. Is when you are on stage and you are acting, it's more fun when you have an audience with reaction than when you have a dead house. So, and then what it really takes is thousands of volunteer hours. So we have some of our primary positions now receive an honorarium, but if you took the hours that those people put into the show for the little bit of couple $100 they might get in an honorarium, it's not even close to minimum wage. It's a thank you. And a lot of the arts organizations in the community are now giving people honorariums, including the school districts. So to get volunteers, if we don't pay an honorarium for some of those positions, they go somewhere else. So we've started doing that, but for the most part, you're talking, if there's over 100 people involved in the show, you've got less than 10% of the people receiving any form of compensation, and everybody else is dedicating their time and their energy to come in and help build a set or put paint on a set. And I'll say this, you don't need any skill. So like, if you can hold a roller, we can use you to help paint the set. We just don't have you do the special effect painting. And there's a beautiful thing with theaters. There's a 30-foot rule. It only has to look good from 30 feet away when it comes to a set, because other than the actors, nobody's going to see it up close. So there's a lot of forgiveness when it comes to that, as people want to learn or explore that. So we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for people to get involved. What I can say is we would love people to attend a show. We would love people to support a show. in the organization financially, and whether it's buying a ticket, giving a donation, business sponsorships, or we would love people to say, hey, I can usher, I would love to help behind the scenes, I'd love to do, if there's anything you like to do, there's probably a role for it within the organization. But without the volunteers and without the support of the community, there would be no community theater. And that's really what the community theater's been about since it was founded in 1970. And it'll continue to be about is bringing the community together to experience the transformative power of live theater, because there's nothing quite like seeing a show live.
And another little interesting, when you said 1970, I just thought it was an interesting thing to point out to people that we are the second oldest community theater group in Dane County that I'm aware of. Madison Theater Guild has been around since the 40s. And other than that, there is no other theater group that has been like a community volunteer-based theater group in our area that's been around as long as Prairie. I think it's a little bit of a point of pride for our city.
And who was one of our first donors?
Our first patron, and this is, you're in good company if you decide to donate to some Prairie Civic Theater. Our first ever, when we had the very first patronage program, former Mayor Joe Chase just informed me and sent me a copy of the check from Georgia O'Keefe. Oh. And she was in her 90s at the time when we got that check. So.
Yeah. So in general, our ticket sales come pretty close. They cover a little over all of our general production expenses. So we can serve, it's about 70% of our revenue comes from ticket sales. So we can survive on ticket sales, but when donations and sponsorships come along, that's what it gives us the ability to make an impact. We're working on a number of programs to get out into the community in different ways and bring theater outside of the stage as we're continuing to grow and look at how we can make a difference in the community. So we've got things like this fall, we're doing a Christmas Carol radio play, which will be filmed in the Sun Prairie Media Center and streamed live and then aired on the radio, and then it may be brought to an organization or two in town. And then we're looking at what are other ways we can, there's now things in the theater world of senior type productions made for seniors. We're looking and exploring ways to get into retirement communities and nursing homes to have the residents actually involved in the facility to put on a show, but all that's in the sort of works planning, exploring stages, but all of the donations and stuff make those things possible because the more ticket sales. So the more people who come to see the shows, and the more capacity we have to fund things that don't have to be a ticket revenue generating activity. I think that's, so yeah, attend, sponsor, or share. Tell people about us. But if they have any questions, let me know.
There's a number of theater groups, in the Dane County of the area. So 2 questions. I mean, how far in advance are you making selections so that you can get the rights for them? And secondly, is there any communication amongst the group so that there aren't 3 groups doing Sweeney Todd or something in a given year?
So the first part's the easy answer. We start working on what the next shows will be about 24 months or 2 years in advance. And then we apply for the rights the rights windows open up about 18 months prior to when you want to do the show. You can start applying for the rights to do the show. So we're now working to apply for the rights 18 months in advance. We actually have the rights. We can't tell you what they are yet, but we have the, just because we're keeping it secret, but we have the rights through January of 27 right now. And we'll be meeting soon to figure out, to confirm things to start planning for the fall of 27, in the winter of 28. We'll start working on this fall. And then we'll get the rights. And that gives us the opportunity to start recruiting directors and looking for special props. So when you do something like Sweeney Todd, you need a barber chair that can dump the dead bodies. You'll understand. Come see the show, you'll understand. There's special effects.
Those on Amazon?
But you need that stuff. You need to figure out how to get it. Or when we did Little Shop of Horrors, you got to find the big plant that's going to eat everybody. And the other groups will often have, some groups who have done shows will sell that stuff. We do rent out our costumes and props for a number of things to other theaters. In terms of other groups, it's a tough one. There is no actual planning amongst all the groups to say who's doing what are you doing? We'll try to stay away from that. Well, so there is sometimes overlap. The challenge is the rights houses, they don't care either. So you could get the rights and somebody next door could decide they're going to do it and they'll give you the rights. The only thing they care about is professional productions, and professional productions will lock up the rights. So they won't give them to a community theater, except for schools. Schools can usually get the rights regardless. But so we do at times have overlap. When we did 9 to 5, we had it in the spring, we announced it, and then Verona said they were doing it in the fall. It actually didn't hurt our ticket sales at all. It still sold incredibly well for us, and we had people who ended up being in the cast for that 9 to 5 who loved it so much they came out and auditioned to be in the show a second time within 6 months. So we don't get, while we do draw from all over Dane County, when you really look at it, we draw mostly within a smaller radius. So people in, unless it's a show they absolutely love, people in Verona, unless they know somebody, typically don't come out to Sun Prairie to see a show. So from that regard, we're not so close to the other organizations. Or if Beaver Dam does a show, like people generally, I worked in Beaver Dam for a number of years, and people are like, Beaver Dam, oh my goodness, who's going to go up there? I'm like, it's no further than driving to the west side, but it's a mental thing. So people we don't get as much, it's not as problematic as you might think. And there's so many shows, we don't tend to overlap a lot. There's one coming out in 27. We might, if other people, because the rights just became available. We got them, but we have no idea who else got them. So we'll see.
So how many hours do you have to prep as an actor for Dan Kinsley, especially if you have a major role? How many hours do you put into that to prepare?
A lot.
Well, I know.
So I can, Lori's been a lead, Dan's been a lead, I've been a lead, so we probably all can speak to that a little bit. I can give you a little bit. So generally speaking, if you're one of the leads, so when I was in Murder, I was in 98% of the show on stage, probably. So I was at rehearsal 4 to 5 nights a week, depending, I can't remember how many we had, 5, I think. So we had 5 nights a week. We were in rehearsal in the facility for 6 weeks, leading up to the show. And that's about a 3-hour rehearsal every night. And then you've got to learn, and then you've got to, if you're in a role, you've got to learn your lines, and that doesn't happen at rehearsal. So then you've got, so the 2 days that I was off were lunches. I had the script everywhere I was going, reading through it, learning the lines. So there's probably another equal to the amount you're in rehearsal. There's probably an equal amount on your own that you're either learning lines, practicing songs, practicing choreography or other things on your own, just so you know it when you come to a rehearsal.
It's like a part-time to another full-time, depending on the size of the role. It could be almost another, full-time job.
Yeah. And then there's other roles. So when I was in Sound and Music, I had a very small role, which every role is important. I didn't have any rehearsals until probably 3 weeks before the show. I think I came in once or twice. And then 2 weeks before the show, I started showing up when there were runs every night. So that was like, whoa, I almost felt like I wasn't in a show until right before the show. So
You have to have a spouse who really understands your sickness.
right.
Or be divorced.
Here's a question. Yeah.
Regarding the rights, you use the term apply for, could you be turned down?
Yes. And we have been turned down.
What are the criteria that you turned it down for?
Usually the most common reason that you're turned down is that there's a professional organization that is either is getting ready to go out on tour. And if a professional organization is going out on tour, The rights then become their decision on who they're giving rights to most of the time. So it goes into their decision of do they think it's going to compete with the tour and where they are, or there's a different professional organization around somewhere that they've decided that they don't want to give the rights out because they don't want it to compete with the professional organization.
How long does it take to get the approval?
It depends on the show and it depends on the organization. Usually we can get approval within a couple of weeks. For the one where the rights just became available, it was we had to wait a month to find out if we got the rights. They had a day where it opened and then they said, we're going to be manually reviewing every application for the next 3 weeks. And then we'll let everybody know who got the right. So that took about a month. There is one show that we applied for. I don't know, we're probably on at least 12 months ago. Technically, we're still waiting to hear if we get the rights. So that one's just in the fall. When we hear someday, we'll.
And it has happened a number of times where we've applied and we don't get the rights, and then we have to kind of go to a backup show.
Yeah,
We have a list of backups.
we tend to have one backup show in the, what I'll call in the hopper. So if we go apply for the rights, we've got one other show that if we can't get the rights to that one, our team will automatically apply for the next show. There have been times we haven't gotten either one of those shows. And then we have to go, okay, what are we doing next?
Have you ever been inspired enough to write your own show?
Me personally, no. But we do have we have people within the organization that have written, we do murder mysteries with Buck and Honeys every year. Those almost entirely have been written by people involved with the Civic Theater. And the radio play this fall, we've got somebody in our group who's writing the adaptation of A Christmas Carol for the radio play. Because they're passionate about it.
If someone writes a show, do they say that you have to share it anywhere to make sure that it's not going to be considered a copy? If it's follows some other show to a point, yet there's a lot of originality in it. Who decides if you could use it or you got to pay rights to it?
Well, in general, we trust that the author has followed copyright. And that's sort of an agreement that they're writing something original. Technically, the lawyers would figure it out if somebody was to come and say, hey, you can't do this show, I wrote this show. But something like A Christmas Carol is in the public domain, the story itself. So any adaptation of it is pretty much fair game.
We did one original musical 10 years ago, I think. 10 plus.
Yeah.
Which, I happened to be in that one. Yeah, you were involved.
Yeah, I'm a producer.
Yeah, you produced it, and it was a really fun show. But that, to Mike's point before, of like knowing the show and things like that, it did not sell very well. But it was a really fun show. So that's an example of the kind of balance that Civic Theater has to do, because you want to challenge people who are involved in the organization to have something new and exciting to do, but at the same time, it's for audiences. So.
And we try not to redo it. We try not to restage or revive a show and do it again for at least 10 years. So if we've done it, we try to stay at least 10 years, ideally closer to 15, before we consider running the production again.
A couple of weeks ago, I took my grandkids to the movie Noah, and when we got there, we realized it was actually a play on stage, because the actors would go down into the thing. But the most amazing part is when all the animals had to get on the ark, they came through the crowd all by themselves, went on the ark, and then at the end, when the ark lands, all the animals came and went through the crowd again.
Wow.
So that was really neat. So I don't know, can you do something like that where you could film it and then charge for a podcast or something later on?
Well, depends on there's very few shows will allow us to record. That's a pretty sticky copyright issue. So it's not very frequent that we can, that we
Yeah.
are allowed to record.
Yeah,
anything.
there's a number of shows that don't allow you to record at all.
Yeah.
There's other shows that you can buy the rights to do a recording, but it's for a private recording only. There are some shows where you can buy broadcast
Send to the parents kind of thing.
rights, and buy the rights to do basically a video production and sell tickets or price to view it. We haven't really looked into that just because we don't have the real facility to stage the show production wise. And if we were going to sort of film the live theater version, we'd have to rent the performance facilities to do that. And then by the time we do that, we'd rather just have a live audience because you're going to pay to have people, you're probably going to pay about the same, if not more, to get the broadcast. Right. So we haven't exported just because the facility type stuff hasn't worked out for us, but it's always an option. But some are very, very sticky. So even when we're doing advertising and promotions, we've got some shows, like we'll try to do a video trailer. We bring a videographer in and we try to do sort of a 30-second trailer to market the show and put it out there so people can get a taste of what the show's like. Certain rights houses, we can take up to a minute of any segment and show it in continuous, like you could hear the song audio. And then you've got shows like Murder on the Orient Express and Wizard of Oz coming up where we're not allowed to do any combined audio visual recording. So we can do a visual recording, but we can't put the audio out on the internet at all, even to promote. We can't do, we're off to see the wizard, like,
You can't hear him.
so we'll do something creative. We'll put other music under and just show stuff with text, but like we have to work around all the.
If you've ever seen the Murder on the Orient
Same.
Express trailer, I have like 85,000 times because it's so good. So
It was
we do
done.
have ways to get around it and still make it really cool. But yeah, we are, you know,
The agreements can get very, very specific.
yeah.
And the show I cannot yet name. Like that one coming out it's a big name show, and that one's gonna challenge us. Like we already know we have to have a crazy producer involved and other people involved because the restrictions and what you can do and can't do and what the actors are allowed to do in costume, not in costume, promotional wise. It's like 3 pages long, and I've never seen one that detailed before, but we want to do the show.
So
So
when are you announcing that one? Because
That-
now
that-
that is all.
yeah, I know now you're all interested.
That was the idea.
There's the idea. It'll be announced, let's see, in the spring.
I'm sure Dan will let us know.
Probably
You better
April.
not, Dan.
Once it's an.
Oh, okay.
It'll probably be announced April, May. So we'll be working with the school district in May to line up performance dates for the 26-27 season. And once we have those dates locked, maybe before it was season, we may be announced like this will come in the winter, but somewhere around May. We may, as the president, we probably will preview it to our members in December at our annual meeting and let them know what the season is. So you can become a member. But the big public announcement will be, probably in the spring.
Come see Clue, it'll probably be in the program.
It might be.
A question a lot of people ask is the barn. Do we perform in the barn?
No.
And why?
So we would love to. We actually got permission one time is a special thing to do a performance in the barn. We don't in the barn because the barn technically is an ADA. It doesn't have enough ADA accessibility, and it doesn't have the fire code for performances. So with all the lights and everything else, it doesn't have the correct sprinkler systems and everything you would need to do performances in the barn. So the one time we got permission, we had the fire marshal there every single night on site to make sure that everything ran smooth, and they gave us this permission to do it. But that's the biggest reason we can't do anything in the barn. It's an old pig barn. So It's been, upgraded in many
And we are
ways. but-
very happy to have it.
And we are thrilled, but it's not really built for performance. If you are interested in learning more about sponsorships, Lori has flyers with all the sponsorship information.
Maybe. Maybe not. At any rate, Phil, you are up for $100.
Okay, happy dollars. Want to share something with the group? Here's your chance. I'll share this last weekend. I was out in South Carolina. I just got back yesterday from the golf trip. Had a great time, so that was fun. So Rich, you're going to put me down for $1. Jeannie, you're online. Do you have anything for happy dollars? Looks like it. $50. Devin?
Well, you can start it.
You're not ready.
I'm not ready.
Figure it out.
All right. I'll make change and then I'll just give you $3 $.
Okay.
All right. So, well, I truly have enjoyed this past weekend. It was like summer again and it was beautiful. It was not humid. It was nice to spend time outside. And, it was just a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And then my daughter, Anna, had a little bit of a scare this past week. She was riding her bike down on campus. And she was in the, in the bike, where the bikes are, was right down by Camp Randall, and some guy hit her with his car while she was riding, hit the front tire of her car and never stopped.
Oh, no.
Which was truly scary for her. I mean, so we also there was some nice gentleman there, probably another student, who got the license plate of the car and like the color of the car, but they just didn't even stop. So then my husband and I, he did most of the work, of course, but we went down, checked out her bike, and put new tires on it and did all the stuff, and it was not damaged. There's not enough damage that she can't ride it. Might be a little off balance, so we'll take it in and have it done. But so that was kind of scary for her. Even Sunday when we were down there finishing everything up, she was still a little shaken about it. So, but she's okay and all that stuff. It's just reminds me of how easily something like that can happen. And then how fortunate we were that she wasn't seriously hurt. And then I don't know, I guess $2 are for the weather because it's just beautiful. No, I changed that. I'm gonna make it for the Civic Theater. We try to get to a couple of shows every year. My husband and I, we just love it. So thank you for all you do, for being in our community. And yeah, it'd be great if we can get more people out to support it. But again, truly love what you do, and it's just fun to go. So thank you.
Ron.
$50 happy for the Civic Theater to use that. I haven't gotten as many as I'd like to. But I have to go by myself once in a while. My second $100 is weather extension, the weather to do outdoor projects. Yeah.
Not to hear. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Ron for joining us again this morning. It's great to have you keep participating. We really appreciate it. And then, despite what they're saying, you will enjoy being in Barbara Fleet Street. You will enjoy that. Or else.
Let's put me down for one. So I got 3 board members here, right? So I'll pay $1 for a request, okay? So last year I was in London. We saw a terrific revival of Guys and Dolls. And we did it here about 30 years ago, I believe I was in. So it's been long enough. We've had Guys and Dolls, right? So that's my $1.
Noted.
Like our next week, our next. Free one. Shouldn't be that hard, but you just have to stand up.
Well, Well, I'm happy that you guys invited us to come here. It's really, this is about the community, right? Because Prairie Civic Theater is here for the community. So it's nice when we get to get invited in and talk to people about it. And I just encourage everybody to get to a show, because if you haven't been to one, I've been in a lot of them, and what I always hear is people are like, wow. People that have never been to one come in and go, wow, I had no idea. It's so professional. I mean, a lot of times people think, oh, community theater is just kind of thrown together. But as you can see from what it's not. And I would say that what is great about community theater is how accessible it is. Overture is great. We are very, very lucky to have such a vibrant arts community right in Madison. But the truth is, the Overture Center is out of reach for a lot of people because of prices. So I would encourage you, whether it's some Prairie or your other local community theater groups, spend your dollars there, because it's very impactful for the people involved, and it's still a really, really good show. I'd say it's more bang for your buck. Not to say don't go to the Overture, but I would say support your local theater groups first if you can.
I talked enough. So, I'll just, thank you for, inviting us in, Dan. But to echo what Lori said, it's $20 to see a show. So that's, you can't see a movie for $20. So come see a show there. I'm blessed that we have that type of an organization like that in our community. And thank you to all of you for putting service, above yourself as well, and doing so much.
I have one each for our guest. It's great to hear somebody so involved at such a young age. So it's very impressive. All of them and I'm excited to hear about what's going on to maybe a year or two, and appreciate you guys do to bring the arts to Sun Prairie. Then I went to see a show in New York over the weekend. I saw Old Mary, which is a comedy where they reimagine Mary Templeton as a erotic drunk cabaret singer.
Do it.
It was fantastic. So,
Yeah, that's me. Hi, guys.
I realized I skipped the gas back here.
I was able to start working on a project for my SAE as a supervised agricultural experience. And I will be firm that I'll be able to go to the elementary school. It's a little unique for stuff.
I have a few happy dollars. First of all, congratulations to you, and I'm happy we have so many young people who are doing so many great things that we don't hear about all the time, but it's nice to have people like you. And Lori has a son named Jack, who is a wonderful young man, who I did some subbing at DeForest High School a couple years ago, and Jack literally taught the class that I was supposed to be teaching. It was a music class, and he's just a wonderful kid, and you see that, people like you and Jack and the other kids in those classes, it gives you a lot of hope for the future. And we hear a lot of bad stuff, but man, we've got some really sharp kids. Number two is I was going to be gone I should be gone out to the Northeast, but we decided to stay because friends of ours invited us to go see the Brewer game on Sunday. So we got to see the Brewers play, win. It was a beautiful day. It's a 20-minute walk from my son's house to the right field bleachers at the stadium. So it was an awesome day. And then we got to go to Balistreri's for pizza afterwards. So that was great. And then my final happy dollar is that we're leaving this week to go to the Northeast. We're going to go to Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, and we're going to be leaf peeping. So I guess I really am old.
Do you have the Merlin map on your phone for bird identification? I do too. That's the sign right there.
So my happy dollars is last week I told you that it was a big weekend out at our farm. And like Debbie said, it was just such a gorgeous weekend. It's like, how could you not go wrong? I mean, it was just phenomenal. But one of the fun things that kind of happened with, we had our kids and our grandkids out there, and our grandkids are starting to get bigger. The youngest one is now like 12 or 13. So they know bows and guns. And so the funniest thing that kind of happened is that my grandson was target practicing, and he says, "Grandpa, look at what we can do. We can pick apples with the 22. So they're sitting on the porch with the 22, and we had some apples in the tree, and they were shooting them, and it was like, wow, this is just like we got room and tell here, so, and they would put apples on top of the turkey decoys and be shooting the apples, and it was just funny in fact. So, and it was very safe. I mean, it was all supervised and everything else. Just needed to add that. Yes. But that's life on the farm. It's just a fun adventure that they normally don't get out otherwise. Another happy dollar I just want to share. I should have said something for Patrick Marsh, and this is for John. John's got us our plans, and there's a lot of details and stuff that we're working on right now and fine tuning them, and he's got them all. A good first draft is where we're at, or second draft is where we're at right now. So, but I just wanted to say thank you, John, because there's a lot of time. There's a lot of behind the scenes in our Patrick Marshall project. It's almost like this theater, is that there's more things going on than a lot of people realize. And John, thank you. I just want to say that, and him and I are hopefully get together here where we can keep tweaking on our plans so we can go into construction in October. And so hopefully keep us going, Aaron. So that's all I got. So, yeah, don't let us down. So thank you, everybody.
And I got a couple to wrap this up. Congratulations to our service consult winners. So thank you for all you do and being inspiring for the future. To the community theater, I'm gonna second Harry's pitch for Sweeney Todd. I don't know what that says about us here, but I love Sweeney Todd. So thanks for coming in and telling us about that. And then the continuing saga of my daughter from LA moving across country to New York. That's all now planned. I have no idea how much a cross country move costs. Holy cow. Wow. Okay. But they're on their way. And she's making my daughter and my grandson are stopping along the way in Madison for about 10 days. And I'm so excited. They're going to be with us for a big chunk of time. So I'm looking forward to that. So there we go. Okay. So we have let's see here. We're gonna walk right over here. Right there. If you win, someone's gonna call the tournament here.
Last three is 5, 3, 2. Oh.
We got?
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't want to pick. Let her pick and see if she can.
Oh, Vanya. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're, so you're,
card.
oh, card. Okay, gotcha. I was like,
Yeah, you already gave the ticket.
I like, all right. So where then? So I have the, yeah, I'll keep it over.
So you're drawing, Vanya, for $155.
We get it in days. But now. All right. I'll let Dan decide. Where would you like me to go with your?
Who do you want the gift to go to?
The gift
She
to
can
go
have
to?
it.
All right. So this is from Dan because it's the person who is the host of the feature. Raffle, which is now been shared with you. His suggestion is you buy 2 tickets to the Civic Theater. It just seems like that might be a good thing. Just a suggestion. You can keep it. All right. A little Rotary knowledge. Rotarians in the United States make up 28% of Rotarians worldwide. So 28% are in the United States. And with that, we're done. And thank you. Have a lovely day.
Yes, there are.